might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Being a parent, especially for the first time, with that comes a lot of self-doubt. As a dad, I just try to lead by example. When you're trying to be the best person that you can be, your kids see that and then they emulate that.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is a live update from Mississippi Live Weather.
This very first edition of Mississippi Live Weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon here. It has been a long time I've wanted to show you what you're looking at now, as it has certainly been a passion project of mine. But ultimately, I just want to thank you, the viewers, for demanding that we do something that can take care of you in active and severe weather. It's incredibly humbling the way that you have spoken out over and over again over the course of time, but certainly in multiple occasions over the course of this year to try to save my job, those jobs of those folks at my former employer. I just want to welcome you into something that I think can be a long-term project that I do think can save lives here in North Mississippi and hopefully be something that's of use to you and your family. Now, I'm broadcasting from a facility in downtown Tupelo. It's a full 4K studio. Initially, we're going to be broadcasting in HD. Hopefully, at some point, as bandwidth and continues to increase and it makes sense on your end, we'll take that next step as well. This has been a partnership of a lot of folks. The Community Development Foundation here in Tupelo reaching out immediately to help me to try to put this together. And I hope you know that what this looks like on day 1 is going to be different than it looks like on day 10, is going to be different from what it looks like a year from now. But I hope you'll bear with us as we go through some growing pains. In a lot of ways, right now, I am the only person in the facility tonight, so there's a little bit of touching my head and rubbing my stomach at the same time. Occasionally, we're going to flub up some things like that. But like anything, like riding a bicycle, whatever you learn, over time you get better at it. So I hope you'll bear with us as we, I think, present a product that is pretty good, but certainly will be a lot better down the road. And so I just thank you so much. And I want to send a special shout out, of course, to the folks at my old employer, WTVA. There are so many people here in Tupelo at that station that are very much not just friends, but obviously literal family. And those folks have done an amazing job for so long. What we are doing here is not designed to compete with that. Now, I understand there's going to be some eyeballs that choose to switch to what we're doing here, but just understand this. It's important for us to have both the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal, WTVA, WCBI, local news that is strong in order for all of us to get the information we need. So there's nothing vindictive going on about what is happening here versus what happened earlier this year. And to that point, before I talk about the weather, I show you some of the things that we're going to do. I just want to please ask you very kindly to be supportive of those folks and encouraging to them as well. A great team that I had there at WTVA. Yes, you are going to see some folks that you've seen in the past. There's one that obviously is kind of leaked a little earlier, another that you have not heard about yet, that are no longer employed there, that will be joining me at this as we continue to try to expand the team over the upcoming months. But I would just ask for your thoughts and prayers for those folks there as they continue to go forward and try to do God's will in the world as we expand this. I'm going to try not to make this too long. You stayed up to midnight. I'm very thankful for that. Because of contractual issues, 12:01, we could talk, and unfortunately couldn't before that. But we are going to, I think, have a good time explaining the weather, hopefully making it interesting and giving you an in-depth analysis of what you need. Now, of course, we're going to have a teaming up process here. We'll talk more about this in the upcoming days with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. They put out a network of cameras across North Mississippi, and they are a 501c3. Of course, if you would like to donate to help them, certainly I know they would appreciate it. NMSC, North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters, nmscas.org. Of course, we'll talk more about that going forward. But they have a great camera, the Tupelo, one out there, I believe Batesville, As you can see, many out in the Delta, quite a few around the Golden Triangle as well. So we're going to be utilizing these a lot during severe weather coverage, and I do think they'll be a huge help. Thanks to some folks around the area that have helped me out. Again, the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal did an amazing profile. I appreciate what they did. They kind of explained some of the things, but a lot of community folks helping to power what we're doing here. And so we were able to go out and get the most advanced radar analysis software anywhere on the planet. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to be able to utilize this to hopefully track storms. Hopefully we get a long time before we have to track the next batch of bad weather. But this is incredible stuff that allows us to be able to analyze things. Obviously you can see here from the touchscreen, I can analyze things on the fly, but we can go all around the world and track the weather. And we just have so many things at our fingertips. Let's talk about actual weather stuff for a minute here as we kind of, utilize this for a moment. And just the rainfall has obviously been a huge deal lately, even in the last 24 hours. Many spots down here south toward the Golden Triangle. You see Louisville there. We have some locations, that had 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in the last 24 hours. So we've had a lot of rain. That is one thing that I think, thankfully, we're going to be shutting off going forward over the course of the next couple of days, as we do have some drier conditions that are moving into the region here. I'm going to wind this out a little bit, kind of show you the surface map that we've had over the course of today. And of course, this front, this is the story. As that front moves in, it's going to bring some drier air. And if you've been looking forward to looking toward the 4th of July and hoping that Mother Nature didn't have something rough for us, this is going to bring not just drier air, but cooler air, marginally cooler air with it. And I think the combination of those two things will make it much more bearable and also bring us some drier conditions. Before we go there, I do want, of course, if you haven't checked out the apps, I do think that's something you certainly should try to check out here. Again, with patting my head while doing everything like that. We do have the free apps available for iOS and Android. There are a couple things I think going on with the Android app that we're working with the developer to figure out. I think there's some links that are still in a work in progress. Again, I've had another job for the last 6 months as we've been kind of developing things here. So not everything's perfect. But here's what I would ask, if you're willing, is to take a screenshot of this, even if you already have the app. And if there's someone that you think might benefit from this app, I'd encourage you to, reach out and try to, let them know, maybe text them this or send them this. Obviously, everything that you do is going to be helpful with this to try to spread the word here. So Android, iOS, those apps are good. Tomorrow we will do an in-depth, for lack of a better way to describe it, vertical video sort of, normal Facebook Live, old school Facebook Live, however you want to describe that there, to kind of go through and talk about some of the ways in which this app is going to be good for you. And so we thank you, all of you that have already kind of talked about it. Certainly it's something that we're proud of, and the website, of course, as well, ways in which you can watch it. And one of the cool things about the app that you will see is, the live stream that many of you are probably watching is always right there at the top. And so over and over again, people are like, well, what are you live? I was trying to figure out if you're live. If we're live, we're always live on there. And clearly, we're live also with the 24-hour weather channel that has been a labor of love. That's also a work in progress. There are sponsorship opportunities on all of this. And that's something we'll get more into in the upcoming days. And one thing I want to say before we go any further, if you haven't had a chance to check out the article the North Mississippi Daily Journal mentioned, there are some things to mention. Number one, we are not planning on doing a paywall anytime soon. I think there will be, no, let me back that up. I'm not planning on doing a paywall at all, especially when we start talking about severe weather coverage. That is something that I think there's a reason why people are so passionate about what we do, and it's because what we do, I think, is important and saves lives. So we have no intention to ever put that behind a paywall when we're talking about severe weather coverage or really any of it. If you're willing to donate, there will be, I think, some opportunities to do that as well. We hope to be primarily sponsor-based, and if that's something that you're interested in, you can send us an email, as many people have already, to info@msliveweather.com. And there's going to be some branding stuff. Occasionally, you're going to hear those 4 letters of my last station coming out of my mouth. I apologize to them and to you. It's going to take me some time to be able to unprogram that portion of the last 14 years. I hope you like what we've come up with here in the graphics and things of that nature, and hopefully you find this to be useful and accurate. Again, on that 24-hour weather channel, we're going to, from time to time, have, there will be recorded updates that are on there. There'll be live updates at many times as well. So as you can see here, from the morning tomorrow, 72, we show the 3 p.m. temperature at 89. We expect to probably have some low 90s out there as far as high temperatures are concerned for tomorrow as well as Thursday. Low 90s and feeling like low 90s, which has been a long time since we've said that. So huge improvement there. And glad to see that. The thing is you can see we're mid-90s to go into the weekend as we really start heating things up, heading toward the 4th of July holiday. More on that here in a moment. Tomorrow's highs, you can see back toward the Delta, low 90s, but the more important number this time of year almost always is the heat index. You're a little higher out there. Mid-90s, our warm spot back out there toward Greenville. 93, as you can see in Clarksdale versus 91 in Tupelo, 89 in Red Bay, 89 Iuka. Before we go any further, let me just stop here for a second and say, we are going to be talking more about the Mississippi Delta than we previously have. There are television stations that cover the Delta. They do an okay job, they do a good job. I think that there could be additional coverage there. That is something that we plan to pick up, especially when we talk about severe weather coverage, but obviously these daily forecasts as well. I think additional coverage out there is something that those folks would like to see, and I think could be helpful as well. So that is something that we plan to try to talk more about. That does not mean we're going to talk less about North Mississippi, because here's why. What's coming on after this? Nothing. So, if it's necessary to talk about something, we all know I can be long-winded, and clearly I'm already about 12 minutes into this, so I'll try to typically keep it massively shorter than this. But we're going to take the time necessary, and that means you're going to have the availability necessary to get that information. So we are going to, I think of the Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Well, maybe we're not tracking to the last drop of rainfall, but we're going to get in, especially when we start doing that watching it. Again, I'm going to have to unlearn some branding here, but that time frame where we're tracking the different thunderstorms, we're going to take some time to do that. So that's a sidebar from the actual forecast for a minute, but I figure if you stay up this late, you might as well get a forecast, because you might not wake up quite as early tomorrow morning, but of course, obviously you have to work. And so I really appreciate you staying up with us. So mid-90s out there, heat indices as we go toward your Saturday though, and 4th of July, again, we're expecting to be heat indices pretty close to the temperatures, maybe adding a couple of degrees there. Now all my graphics after midnight updated a little bit, so I was expecting some of those to be reading a day different than they were a second ago, because they're all programmed, it's automatic to go to the next day. So anyway, that's the reason when we start looking at extended forecast here, 94 and dry for the 4th. That means the lake, the pool, it's all good, and it's not going to be excessively hot. I mean, obviously drink the right kind of liquids and you'll be in better shape. I could start making limited rain chances, arguments there for Sunday. Not impressed by what we're seeing at this point here, but Saturday, your 4th of July, those are both dry. If you're planning lake days, as if everyone isn't, those are the days for that. And then rain chances get a little better as you look toward the first part of next week. It's July, and we expect that next batch to come around by that point in time. Okay, so typically I'm going to answer, I think there'll be a portion of this where we can, again, have an interactive conversation. That's not going to necessarily be every show. And speaking as far as shows are concerned, we're going to have live broadcasts every night at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 p.m. Initially here, that's where we will be as far as live, consistent broadcasts are concerned. I might end up doing a live show tomorrow morning at some point, just what we call a live update, just because we're kind of getting folks used to and understanding what it is we're going to do here. Eventually, hopefully within the month, we will have someone on board with us that has extensive experience and I think is an amazing meteorologist. We're going to bring her on board and she'll be doing more morning cut-ins and live updates for us as well. So the name is Mississippi Live Weather, and we're trying to try to be live as much as possible, and certainly anytime there's breaking and severe weather, we'll certainly be here as we were where we were before. I can honestly tell you that this is the absolute scariest thing I've ever done and been a part of in my entire life. But I'm not going to try to get too God on you. But with this venture from time to time, I am going to bring my faith into it. So I'm not going to sit here and preach, but I'm going to say that He certainly opened a lot of doors for me, and I'm incredibly humbled to be standing here before you today. So thank you for watching our very first little rocky broadcast of Mississippi Live weather. We hope that you will continue to join us going forward. Be blessed, be safe, and have a good night.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.